My first ancient only. Come on! Come on! Yes! I heard so much good things about him. I only heard so much good things. Oh my god, we got Uredin. Finally an ancient only. I was praying for it. I was praying for it. Let's go! Apparently the new best unit in the game. Not too sure about that. We're gonna test it right now. In the damage dealt from Uredin to Khamet, with both having an attack buffer, he got strongly outperformed by Khamet. And we can try again with a bit of a different lineup here. Uredin still strongly outperformed by Khamet. I really don't know how to get Uredin to be as strong as Khamet. It's not even close. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. He simply doesn't get the job done. He's a fraud. Uredin does not get the job done, no matter how hard I try. He's a fraud. He's an absolute fraud. And I'm not gonna sit here pretending that he's anything more than that. Cause he's not. He's a con artist and he should be ashamed of himself. Cause quite frankly, he's nothing more than Khamet stock. What's up guys, Ronaldo here and welcome to this character showcase of Uredin, the fraud himself. Today we're gonna take a closer look at him, his strengths, his weaknesses, mainly his weaknesses because he got a bunch of them. We're gonna go over how you want to gear him, how he compares to other AOE units such as AOE mages, but also other AOE fighters. And let's take a closer look at how you want to build this con artist right here. So for Uredin, the con artist, you have a bunch of options in terms of the gear sets here. You actually have a lot of options. And I want to go over 4 specific ones, 4. And these will be Soulbound Arcana, Infernal Roar, Ageless Wrath, as your legendary gear pieces basically, right? Now out of these 3, it's debatable. You can use all of them. All of them bring certain strengths and certain weaknesses. For example, the Soulbound Arcana has the issue that you want to stack it up 5 times, right? He has actually, it's actually not that he's good with all of these 3. He just doesn't perform that well with all of them. That's the thing. It's the opposite way, yeah? It's the opposite way. Because what am I talking about? As you can see, he only has 800 cost, so you can get his ultimate out quite a bunch of times and stack up your Soulbound Arcana quite quickly, right? That's how it is. Well, kinda yes, but the problem is you really want the overcharged ult where you have to pay 1600 energy cost to pop it ult. Because that overcharged ult is just infinitely better than his normal 800 cost ult. That's how it is. So if you go for the Soulbound Arcana, you will have to try to get the max out of him by using his basic ult a few times and only later be able to use his charged ult. And most likely the fight won't last that long. Let's be honest, the fight won't last that long that you really will be able to get the max out of this. And if you use the fully charged ult to get the max out of his ult, you won't profit that much from Soulbound Arcana. Then what else do we have? We have Infernal Roar. Now Infernal Roar works actually really well with him because when his aura hit transforms into Soul Harvest, yeah, or into Phantom Strike, it isn't really still his basic auto hit, but somehow the Infernal Roar 40% boost still counts. So after you pop his ult, his new attacks will still get the basic damage of 30% increase for his auto hits, which is nice because Khamet on the other hand doesn't get that Infernal Roar buff, which is, it's weird. But hear me out, there comes a problem with the Infernal Roar as well, and that is that of course Infernal Roar is amazing, yeah, as amazing as it is, a lot of damage comes from this 1200% AOE nuke of his ultimate. Therefore, While with this set, you might get a lot out of his auto attacks. His nuke from his ultimate isn't as high, but it's a really valuable option for certain pieces of content. Then we also have the Ageless Rev set. So the Ageless Rev set basically doesn't have any issues with Uredin, right? You just get straight up 60% more crit damage, more or less, right? The problem is with the Ageless Rev set that 60% more crit damage, yeah, is nothing compared to a 50% damage increase or a 40% damage increase you get from the other sets. Because if we have a unit like him, let's say we have him geared like this, right, or a bit less, with more attack, a lot more attack. Let's say we have 300% crit on him. We get 60% more crit damage through the set. That's only a 20% increase of damage, where the Infernal Roar has a basic attack increase of 40% and Soulbound Arcana 50%. So as you can see, the three best gear sets already, all of them have some issues. They have some issues. They all work with him. They all work with him, but not because they're all exceptional with him, because it's more that he can't really utilize one of each extremely well. Yeah, that's the thing. He's not tailored for one of them, basically. Now we went over the gearing and we already see there are some issues, yeah. And now let's go over the next issue, which we're going to show in Gear 8.1. Let's take a look here at the supports. The supports are his main problem here. First of all, Dolores is a stronger attack buffer than Constance, yeah? So you could place Dolores like this, but then she wouldn't reach that tile, right? Which would be bad for your mages, and your mages hit harder. You could place your Dolores like this, which would also be suboptimal for your mages. And on top of that, if you place her somewhat like this, your Uredin will be having to be placed like this, which will result in him during his ultimate only reaching 2 out of the 3 tiles, and be actually a DPS loss not only for him but also his mages. Yeah, so you can't really place your Dolores like you want, so you really want to use Constance as your damage buffer. Now what you still can do is to increase his damage, is to use a Laurel, right? So you still forsaken that left slide, but for the benefit of being able to use a Laurel for his ultimate. And here comes the next issue. Yeah, here comes the next issue again. His ultimate doesn't really get as much benefit from a Laurel rage boost or from a Leia rage boost as from others, because the 50% boost is only a fourth of his ultimate charge, of his full charge, while as for all the other units it's a 50% straight up charge for their ultimate, which will make them a lot more potent, right? And on the same time, we can already see a big issue that he also has in Gear 8.1 is that, simply put, at the moment, platform units have a lot stronger support units, right? There's a lot stronger support units on platforms than on the floor, basically. On the floor, you don't have as crazy support units as on the platforms, which is also why he's not able to dish out as much damage, why he's not able to have the perfect placement for him, because he lacks a bit of placement issues here in Gear 8.1, and platform units really benefit a lot. Then we come to the next problem that he faces, and that is that he has a big thing for him going with his rage regen, right? Because he has such a high rage cap because of the double ultimate, they implemented something for his rage regen. Now let's take a look here. Now, to make this 1600 cost ultimate more obtainable, they did something here, right? That there is Where is it? Here. A big increase of rage regen when he's low HP. Now the problem with this is that it is extremely hard to utilize. It is extremely hard to utilize, especially because unlike other units, he only gets one trigger of unyielding during his ult. So he can only be unyielding once per deployment. If he would be unyielding every time he ults, that would be big, because then you could just put him somewhere low HP, so he gets a lot of rage regen back and therefore gets his ult up faster, and therefore you can basically use him as an unkillable force. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work, which is why he will need a healer, which is why this Phantom Rage, to utilize it, is hard. Same for the Arbiter of Death, this one time unyielding during his ultimate. I mean, come on. If it's just a one time unyielding, why does it even have to be based on the condition that he has his ultimate going on top of that? And now I want to talk with you guys how he works at the Void Rift. Yeah, I tried a bunch of different things in the Void Rift with his unyielding, with his low HP. He has a big problem at the Void Rift, and that is that he only has a 2-tile range, which basically makes him a one-shot for most of the heavy hitters. So in Void Rift, where these guys come in, he gets one shot even if you put him behind a tank, because he only has 2-tile range. If he had 3-tile range, that's the big thing. 3-tile range would be huge. Yeah. But these guys mess him up in Void Rift. These guys, same thing. If you want to put him behind a tank, he's gonna get wiped. Mess him up. These guys in Void Rift as well mess him up, because he only has 2-tile range and not 3. These guys mess him up. Why? Because he can't hit air. He can't hit air, which is fine. But as you can already see, he has a problem with a lot of different units. He has a problem with a lot of different units because of his range already. Now let's compare this fraud against Ardea in AOE Arena, shall we? So we will see a bunch of benefits that Ardea gets that Uredin just cannot keep up. So first up, we will have to start off with a Cerberus plus Aatrox combo, while as you can see this guy, he just places down Ardea, and you cannot place down Uredin on his own, because Uredin on his own won't get the job done. He simply will not get the job done, but Ardea can. And as you can see, boom, round lost. Round lost. The fraud. Now, because I have such a good lineup, and again, don't know why I lost this one. Getting on my nerves, this man. Have you seen how fast Ardea clears the wave? It is wild. It is wild, right? Now we luckily have the GOAT himself, Khamet, already on the field, which is why he's gonna tank a lot of damage, but we're not gonna win it because he already won so much time before that with his Ardea that even now, look at this, 120k attacks. 120k, and Uredin does 50k with his attack with less range. That's weak. That's weak, isn't it? And then he barely gets rid of these guys. 40k attack. Do you see that? It is embarrassing. It is truly embarrassing what he is putting up here. Now we will have to try to win this real quick. Our Khamet ultimate. Come on. Win it. You frauds! How did you not win this? How did I not win this round? That's unreal. Nah, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. How did I not manage to win this round? And he freezes everyone. Stun them, please do something at least. Yeah, this is Uredin against Ardea, guys. Let's see the damage. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. There we go. This is what I meant. You cannot use Uredin nearly as close as Ardea. He's just not it. He can't keep up. Let's just try to use Uredin here the same way this guy used his Ardea. Let's just see how well Uredin performs if we use him the same way this guy used his Ardea. So he placed Ardea first, right? As first unit in his lineup. Boom. Placed down. And we're gonna do that too now with our boy Uredin, shall we? I'll place him down and pop his ultimate once they're in here. And get rid of this wave. That worked better than I expected. Not gonna lie. We're gonna wait with our Cerberus placement. And we're going to place down this mad lad here. Followed by this mad lad. And 3v1. Ardea wins the fight because Uredin's damage without his ultimate up is extremely low. Extremely low. And these guys come in. Uredin needs to pop his ult immediately, otherwise he will be a useless weakling, right? And he finally managed to do something, huh? He managed to do something in his auto run. But he's about to die here. He managed to do something. Replaced him the same way as this guy placed Ardea. Did you see that damage? Ardea damage. Now we don't have anything up. 4-wave 5, and we're gonna lose it right here. Right here. Uredin died, Ardea still alive. And he's losing. That's what happens when you try to use Uredin as if it was an Ardea. Look at him. We placed him first, just like his Ardea. He's still not doing anything. Now let's try him with a Dolores as well, because this is the lineup the other guy ran, right? With the Dolores. Let's see how that works, but we still need our Venoma, because otherwise he won't have his ult up for when these guys come in. And wouldn't be ready. So we're gonna use him now. Okay, good job. Good job, buddy. Gonna follow it up. And these guys again lose against a single Ardea in wave 2. This is wild to me. Absolutely wild to me. Gonna wait. Now pop his ult. Wipe them out. Perfect. Ah, wow. Wow. My man's did something. Ah, come on, Comet, you're late to the party. And he's still alive. For once. But next wave we'll just walk through because there's too many enemies. And we got him. We got him! We got him! And still, the fight was solely won by Khamet, who came in as the last unit. He's a fraud, he's a con artist, he's... Now that we know that Uredin doesn't barely keep up with the AOE mages in terms of damage, and he clearly lost in Arena against Ardea, he clearly loses against Ardea in Gear Raid 1, we have to take a look at how he works in Conqueror Codex compared to Ardea, and as you can see, he is up there in the best teams of the world. And let's take a look here. A3 Uredin is nuts, by the way. A3 Uredin. So he did 200 million damage. Valk did even 230 million. And Ardea did 500 million. So okay. Maybe that's a placement issue. Let's take a look at some other examples. Here we have another one using the both units. And again, Ardea gaps Uredin by a large margin, and even Valk is gapping Uredin. And as you can see, in many teams where there's no Uredin, there's a Valk, because Valk is doing amazing in here as well. Here again, Uredin gets clapped by Ardea, and we can clearly see he should not be compared to Ardea. Because quite frankly, he shouldn't be compared to Khamet or Boreas because he can't keep up with the AOE mages. He shouldn't be compared to Ardea because he can't keep up with her either. And as you can see, guys, everyone is using these Soulbound or Arcana sets or the Ageless Wrath because his ultimate just doesn't get that Infernal Roar buff, and therefore the Infernal Roar only helps his AoE attack from his auto hit, and his auto hit has a super slow animation. It's super slow, 3.5 second auto hit. So he shouldn't be compared to Comet, he shouldn't be compared to Valk, but what I'm seeing here is that he might need to be compared to someone else. Maybe we overestimated him all along. Maybe we should give him a fair match, and that is Valk, because as I take a look here, there's always these Valks that slightly out damage Uredin, yeah? They out damage Uredin everywhere here as well. And I want to see now the final test. Who's better? Uredin versus Valk. Let's get into it. In Conqueror, we can already see Valk is basically doing even better than Uredin because she has a higher uptime, and because that sort of victory attack boost gets her attack so high that she can easily keep up with the attack from Uredin. And this is also why she deals so much damage, because she has a faster auto hit than him, and her ultimate is amazing as well. And on top of that, she also reduces vulnerability. She inflicts vulnerability, magic damage vulnerability. But let's take a look. Valk versus Uredin now. Gear Raid 1 and Arena. Let's go. Now the final test. Uredin against Valk. Who is going to perform better out of the two? And we will find it out soon. Now Uredin, I expect to have a higher burst window than Valk, of course, because Uredin, when he has his ultimate up, deals 10 times more damage as if he doesn't, whereas Valk is pretty different in that aspect. And let's see, who got the Invig buff? Uredin got it. And now we have Invig on both of them. And we could use our Valk ultimate here, But Valk, unfortunately, she wants to wait. She wants to wait here as well. We want to get as much rage regen as possible here. And let's see. So upfront burst window first start off with the upfront burst. Boom! Boom! There we go. There we go. Uredin gapping Valk into oblivion in terms of upfront burst. Because with his ultimate he just nukes. He just nukes. But Valk scales up in the fight. Valk has a stronger damage output when she doesn't use her ult compared to Uredin, and Valk keeps getting more attack. Keep that in mind, guys. The longer a fight goes, the stronger Valk becomes, and our Valk isn't skilled up. This is even though Valk is not skilled up, guys. Let's go over the full fight now. Let's now take a look who out of the two did more damage in a full Gear Raid 1 run. So there we go. Uredin managed to beat out Valk by quite a good margin. Now keep in mind, don't get distracted by this Khamet's damage, guys. His Dolores died once, and on top of that he was placed like as last DPS, like after the third or fourth wave, right? Khamet came in after I already placed Uredin, Valk, Eloin, Constance, Hollow, Leia, and Laurel once, and even only then Khamet came in, and Khamet still came out on top. So don't get distracted by that. Take a look at here. So Uredin, gladly, he finally managed to beat someone, guys. He finally managed to beat someone. Maybe in Conqueror he's not gapping Valk that hard, right? Maybe in Conqueror he's not gapping Valk so hard, but here he is. Here he is. Now let's take a look at how Valk performs in Arena compared to Uredin. We've seen Uredin in Arena. Let's take a look at Valk in Arena now. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, first wave coming in, and we're planning to use Valk as if I'm sorry, as if she was an Ardea. So we place her first before anything else. And yeah, she's quite slow here for the first wave, unlike an Ardea, that's for sure. Because she needs to scale up her attack a lot with her passive. Okay, next wave we place Dolores. I think, yeah, for Invic buff as well. Fine. And Aatrox. And she's doing well, she's doing well. She is doing well. We're also against the Valk, and she's performing well. That's a good start already. I kind of misplaced that Khamet, but it's fine. It should be fine. Now we have Khamet's ult up soon. So Khamet taking care of this wave with ease pretty much, but unfortunately though, because we are using Valk, we were not able to place our Khamet as well as we would have liked. So this wave doesn't get immediately wiped by our Khamet. Could have started with the Cerberus Aatrox comp. This way we would have better placement on Khamet, but this way we would have Valk placed as last unit, so we wouldn't really know how well she performs, right? So it's kind of hard. What are her hits? Is she hitting for 100k per audit? I don't really see it. Looks like it, yeah, 110k with her stacked passive. Yeah, she hits good. She hits really good now, but we don't have ults left. Don't have ults left, so we're gonna lose in this round, but it's fine. It's just here to test Valk against Uredin. Valk against Uredin, who did more damage in the AOE Arena and in comparison to Khamet. Now I already did a Uredin run as well with similar placements where I placed Uredin first and then I followed it up with the Dolores and everything, and Uredin still did around 4 million damage over the run. So let's see, we lost this one, and there we go. 8 million. What? Okay, damn, that's crazy actually. Valk performing really well in AOE Arena. So there we have it, guys. In conclusion, Uredin the con artist, we should not compare him to the likes of a Khamet or a Boreas because he's a completely different role. We should also not compare him to an Ardea, even though they're both the same role, they both are chaotic. It's just that Ardea gaps him everywhere, and he just cannot keep up with her. But we can compare him to Valk, and Valk is actually really strong, really strong. And yeah, Uredin, what can I say? He has a bunch of issues, but also quite some strengths, right? He has a lot of burst, a really high burst. The problem is his DPS uptime because of his high rage cap, his DPS uptime because he has such a low attack interval, and therefore when he's not in his ult, his DPS is just not there. Same with the survivability and the range. Because of the range, his survivability is hard to do, and therefore he is really niche compared to other units that can be used in many places of the game. He doesn't have benefits like Valk does with the vulnerability magic damage or the revive of anyone or whatsoever. But in the end, he's definitely strong, but not even as close as strong as people thought he would be when he got released. But if you have him, you're still lucky like I am. I'm glad I have him. I use him in a lot of content like the Conqueror, and there's a bunch of content that we haven't seen where he might excel. So there's hopes for our con artist, there's hopes for our fraud. If you also want to pull a fraud like Uredin, make sure to subscribe this channel. This will increase your luck in the summoning pool. And other than that, I'm Ronaldo and I'm out. Peace.